You are listening to Single Smart Female. This is Jen, explaining the possibilities in your love life and examining your Mantourage dating experiences. I am here to help you do life and love on your terms by tipping the scales of love permanently in your favor. So don't forget to text this episode to all of your single smart girlfriends, and let's get started. Hey, it's your romantic fairy godmama coming to you today with a single smart female listener question. This listener question comes all the way from Toronto, Canada. And I lost her name for a second. Miss Focused and Feisty writes, Dear Jen, just wanted you to know that I've been listening to your podcast ever since I became separated about 9 months ago, and it's helped me to get confident about trying dating again. And I want to thank you in particular about the piece of advice you gave about not looking at your phone and social media when you first wake up, and instead writing, thinking about your goals and intentions for the day. This has been a game changer for me because it's making me approach my day with much more intentionality and to just take my life into my own hands, take control rather than passively scrolling the Facebook feed, checking out dating app messages and getting sad or depressed or sucked into a conversation, etc. So I'm in a really difficult situation right now because I have 2 kids. And even though we're separated, my ex-husband refuses to leave our home. We're still trying to figure out our separation agreement and all the legal stuff. He says that he will leave once we have a separation agreement. However, in the meantime, he has started dating, has a dating profile up, and I know he is having sex with someone. I have also gone on several dates and I'm on a dating site, but I haven't gotten serious or intimate with any man. We both have kept our dating lives out of the home and away from the kids' visibility. No date ever comes to the house. I hope he will move out soon and we confirm the separation agreement so I can be fully free to actually date. I love the idea of Mantourage dating because I totally get hung up on men, hyper-focus and scare them the fuck away all the time. With dating and chatting multiple men, you naturally can't do that. My question is, since I've been single, I actually really miss sex. I'm trying to date, but what ends up happening sometimes is I actually start sexting with guys. Sometimes I do this and learn more about them later and learn whoever I sexted with is not a good person and not someone I want to date. Other times, I've had men tell me that they think I'm very sexually aggressive because I sext. My question is, should I avoid sexting altogether until I get to know someone and we meet in person? And how do I manage my sexual frustration and sexual needs while in this situation? I also know I fall for guys and get my heart involved very quickly if I get intimate, which is why I've avoided sex with anyone since I've been separated. Having my ex in the house, because he refuses to leave, is also a bit of a sexual temptation. Yeah, I know there's always toys, but they just don't do it for me. Once I have sex, I will only want to be with one person. So my question is, how do you manage your sexual desires while Mantourage dating when you're still trying to get to know someone and figure out if they are right for you, but at the same time, you're horny as hell? What's your advice around sexting? Should I just avoid it altogether? Okay, couple points to add to this, because I am likely to bring them up, is the men she meets them on Bumble or Facebook dating. Okay, let's dive into this, Miss Focused and Feisty. So these are great questions, by the way, so thank you for bringing these to me. These are awesome. I'm going to start with number 1. I'm really proud of you for keeping your dating life out of the home, both you and your husband doing that, and keeping your kids away from this situation. That is a sign of very good emotional maturity. Dating is not something we need to incorporate into our kids' life until we are much, much closer to an exclusive relationship. So kudos to you, because otherwise that shit just gets really confusing in their heads. Now, number 2, I want to talk about your living situation. I know I don't know all the details of this. I don't know what the legal situation is. I don't know all those different pieces, but I do know what I would do in the situation. And is if I, for whatever reason, couldn't get my ex to leave, I would leave. I know the first thing that comes up is, well, I'm going to be staying with the kids afterwards. I would do it even temporarily, like get an Airbnb or something if that's all financially feasible, even if it stretches my finances in a way, because I do think that it interferes significantly having your ex in the house and then knowing too, it really fucks with your head, knowing that he's sleeping with somebody else. That's rough. I feel like emotionally I'm very evolved in certain ways, and that is rough for most women. Again, that is a consideration and is something that I would do. Of course, ultimately everything is up to you, which brings me to number 3. Okay, since you have a tendency to hyperfocus, which I'm very proud of you for admitting, I don't want to recommend sexting to you with any men, especially near the beginning. Now, closer to relationships or when you decide to have a sexual relationship with that person, completely different. But at the beginning, no, because of that hyperfocus element, it can really lock you into it. Now, with that said, though, you're like, well, Jen, what do I do with my horniness and all the sexual attention that I want right now? So I'm going to give you one recommendation and understand that you might have to figure out how to tweak this for yourself. That's what experimentation is for, is that you pulling pieces into your life so that you feel like a fulfilled woman and you're not reacting off of insecurities or not reacting off of anything that has possibly gotten out of control in your life. So you're basically giving yourself, yes, of course, I want you to self-pleasure. What I'm thinking, though, might be helpful in your situation is I actually would like you to create a dating profile that has an alternate ego for you that is exclusively, and you can even set it up, maybe Tinder or something like that. Set it up just for sexting, okay? You can put it on there. Basically, in a fun way, you're going to get the gist. I'm somebody who loves to sext. I have no interest in meeting you in person, but if you would like to have a sexting conversation, or even if you want to do phone sex, and then you can pleasure yourself at the same time, I think that that would be really great to do. Now, understand though, this is separate from your dating life. This is your alter ego. This is something you're going to change your name. Actually, you could actually use a photo that maybe has sunglasses or something really sexy and fun, but doesn't completely reveal who you are, and have that kind of relationship and see what that does for you in the meanwhile. So that way you're not leaning towards your ex and you're not getting into situations where you're automatically going into hyperfocus with men, because once you get to that point that you're sleeping with them, then you feel, you go all stage 5 clinger on them, if anybody remembers that movie reference. Hint, Wedding Crashers. It was a very fun movie. So I want you to recognize that it's okay that you have, and I think you do, I'm not saying you don't, but it's really important for not only you, but other women too. Recognize it's okay that you're a woman with sexual desires. There is nothing wrong with that. We shouldn't try to squash that. What we should try to do is give that another outlet. Meanwhile, that doesn't interfere with some of the things that we want to experience with Mantourage dating. I think it's great that you acknowledge that you easily hyperfocus. And that actually brings me to my last point with this, is I want you to actually consider the dating apps that you're on right now, because you're on some very low entry dating apps, meaning just free at this point. And I would consider for you, after you learn how to put together a great profile, because that's really important. So again, we're talking separate from the Tinder or whatever app you use just for sexting or phone sex. I'm talking completely separate. This is actually your Mantourage dating experience. You need to put together a profile that is intriguing and authentic to you and gives men a great place to start off with you. And I recommend you hold back completely on the sexting when it comes to these men. But I do want you to consider the app you're on. So you said Bumble and Facebook dating. I don't have clients that use Facebook dating. For some reason, I don't have a lot of experience with it, but it gives me the heebie-jeebies when it's mentioned. So I'm going to say keep the Bumble and then go to something like Match instead and play with these different pieces of yourself. And if you're able to leave. If you won't leave, or push him to leave even sooner if you need to, and honor the fact that you're doing so many things very well here. You should be really proud of yourself. Great job, and keep experimenting with it. Now, finally, I want to reiterate to all women, there's nothing essentially wrong with sexting. What I think happens, though, sometimes for different reasons, for Miss Focused and Feisty, it's because she finds it exciting and she's feeling pretty damn horny right now. So she goes into it sooner than she really wants to. And for other women, it's because they think that they have to or they'll lose his attention. There's a multitude of reasons why we sext. And underneath it all, there's nothing really wrong with sexting except our motivation around it. If it is something that you truly enjoy doing, then do it. Definitely explore whether or not it's hindering developing relationships, if a relationship is something that you want, if it's interfering with that. But you as a woman shouldn't be shut up sexually just because we think that it's only going to work one way. I want you to be unapologetic about certain things in your life. I do recommend, if you want a man to be into you for more than just the sexual piece, then I like delaying that personally for a little while and give him the opportunity to get to know you outside of the bedroom or outside of the sext, and see if he's even worthy of having a sexting conversation. Okay, lover girl, it's time for the final thought on today's show. Sexting can be a part of a healthy Mantourage dating experience. Just make sure that your sexuality isn't the only piece he knows. Hey, lover girl, don't forget to subscribe to the show in your favorite podcast app, as well as share this episode with all of your single smart girlfriends. And if you are ready to finally stop being on the losing end of love, then listen up. I exclusively work with women like you who want it all: career, success, to be loved, adored, romanced, and who are willing to change the status quo in dating so that you can finally have the love life of your dreams, as well as a soft place to land at the end of your day. Most smart, successful single women I know and or have worked with have one thing in common. They are incredible at the rest of their life, but they feel powerless, uncomfortable, and awkward in romance. Just because you are smart does not mean you should figure it out on your own. I can guarantee you there are several pieces that you are missing, big pieces. And in fact, one of the fastest ways to unravel all that's keeping you from the love life of your dreams is the secret society of adored women. But none of this means anything to your love life until you take the small step of courage by scheduling your application interview for the Secret Society of Adored Women at secretsocietyofAdoredwomen.com. This is the way beyond the podcast opportunity to completely reinvent your dating and love life as it is happening. It's a love life makeover year where you can tell all of your craptastic dating and love experiences to kiss your hot ass. This is you having a real life romantic fairy godmama at your fingertips instead of ever wasting another moment on one-size-fits-all crap advice about men, dating, and love. These are the additional pieces that I won't reveal on the podcast or in public. We are going to cover the ins and outs of Mantourage dating, leaving nothing untouched. And I'm going to work with you directly to customize the experience in order for you to get everything you want out of life and love. Procrastination is the exclusive killer of all dreams, especially in your love life. It's time to get your dating and love life in order. It's definitely time to stop pretending you enjoy mediocre dating love experiences, but most of all, it's absolutely the right time to develop your Mantourage and let me help you create everything you want romantically. Magic included, no batteries required. Meet me over at thesecretsocietyofAdoredwomen.com to schedule your application interview.